Yeah, they did. Look, we're still a few years out at this stage, obviously, but we now know that South Australia will host a State of Origin match in 2023. The last time South Australia hosted a match was in 2020, and that year was, of course, the year that the country got hit by the pandemic. It meant that at that State of Origin match, there was only half capacity crowds, and only about 4,000 people came in from overstate, from interstate, rather. The South Australian Premier hopes that in 2023, there'll be as much as 20,000 people heading into the state, so it'll be a bigger boom for the tourism industry. Obviously great news for rugby fans as well. Now, he stood alongside former Queensland Premier Peter Beattie, who now sits on the Australian Rugby League Commission. I asked Mr Beattie, we know who's going to be hosting this match in 2023, but what about 2022? He said no announcements are being planned at that stage to announce who will be hosting it next year, but he did say that he has aspirations for rugby to be a national sport. Let's take a listen.
The biggest game of any series of any sport in Australia is NRL. Now, I know Adelaide and South Australia, you're obviously committed to another code called AFL, but when it comes to television ratings, there's nothing rates higher than the NRL. It has around about 3 million people watching these series, and that is part of our building the game in South Australia.
And Joel, I understand that at that announcement, the Premier also had some kind words to say after that video of his recent chat with the Queen was released by Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, he did, Ash. Look, obviously the Premier was humbled to take part in this video call with himself, the Queen and the South Australian Governor. Now, the purpose of the call was to talk about a statue that's been recently erected at Government House here in South Australia. It's turning out to be a very popular statue amongst fans who like to get photos taken with it. But the Queen was actually cracking jokes on the phone call about the statue. Let's have a listen.
Yes, I would think possibly it might be quite alarming to just suddenly see it out of the window. Gracious that she arrived here unexpectedly.
It showed just the wonderful warmth and sense of humour that the Queen has. It was a wonderful opportunity to speak with her.
The Premier said that Republicans and monarchists alike all love the Queen, and it's worth noting that South Australian donors actually paid for that statue.